Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we're going to visit the Valley of the Headless Men. You go there, you don't leave with your head. Up next on Talk is Cheap. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I am Dan Hohlfeld. I'm joined by my good buddy Pete Halbleib. Pete, how you doing?
Good.
That's all you got to say for yourself?
I'm doing quite good.
Yeah,
quite well. I think the grammar police out there would correct me and say I should say it should be doing well.
Well, yeah,
very well.
Yeah, life is good.
That's awesome. And I'm joined by my good friend-in-law, Dusty
Friend-in-law.
or outlaw.
Outlaw, yes. Friend-in-law.
New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, New Age Outlaws. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that's what we're gonna be known as. Digital New Age Outlaws. Esquire.
Vampire aliens. All right, I'm going to talk about the Nahanni Valley, also known as the Valley of the Headless Men. Now, when I was talking to Sherrod Hall on the phone, he mentioned this to me, and I looked it up a little bit. So I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. You know, there ain't really anything too concrete about it. It's basically the stories. But let's go through it here.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
This valley is located in the Northwest Territories. I actually have a map here.
This is interesting. I just read this like 3 weeks ago. Or not this article, but about this.
So we're looking right up here in Canada.
Canadian?
Oh, that's out in the middle of
nowhere.
Exactly. This is 11,000 square miles. So much of it remains unexplored. And it consists of geysers, sinkholes, deep canyons, caves, gorges, and there's a Virginia Falls, and that's 2 times as high as Niagara Falls.
I've heard of Virginia Falls. I think that's a fairly well-known waterfall.
Before it gets to the falls, it actually gets boiled in these whirlpools known as Hell's Gate. So it's actually like pretty hot water coming down. And because it's warm, you got places that that permeation of the air. So you got ferns, wild cherries, and roses that are growing on never freeze like that. So it's pretty almost kind of like a tropical.
Oh wow!
I forget what they call it, but those ecosystems that are that are totally contained and they're unique. It's havens for new species and unique species.
Absolutely.
I forget there's a name for it.
The reason that a lot of this is unexplored, you can only really get here by boat or plane. So because of that, it's not easy accessible, of course.
Look there's one road.
Yeah, right.
And 10 miles is not very, very far on there. So
a little bit of the history of it. It was first inhabited around 9,000 to 10,000 years ago. Tribes were actually afraid to settle there. They believed it be a haunted place. They called it the devil's place and all that good stuff that you hear. Also, the native tribe Dane, Dene, people who live there were told of mysterious creatures lurking in the forest, and they were plagued by the Naha tribe, which this tribe wore masks, armor, and then when they actually killed their people, they decapitated them. So when a tribe decapitates people, it's just to instill that fear and to keep people away. That's what the whole idea was. So I'll talk about their warriors a little bit. They're said to be larger than normal men. And here's what really kind of got me. They wielded strange and powerful weapons that no one had ever seen before, and these can blow up entire villages. So maybe we're talking a bit about time travel here. You start thinking about that shit.
Or interplanetary travel, ancient civilization.
I would say ancient civilization.
You can
Atlantis type people.
The not the extraterrestrials, but the ultra-terrestrials, the people inside the Earth.
These warriors disappeared mysteriously without a trace. Nobody knows what happened to them,
and no artifacts that they know of either. They're not finding these. I suppose that's what it means without a trace.
So they're in this park, there's a valley called 200 Mile Gorge, and this is where it's believed to be full of gold. So all these people are going up there to mine now.
Currently?
Well, before.
Okay.
So, first example, 1908, brothers Willie and Frank McLeo, they went there to mine, and a year had passed. A year had gone by, and they never returned. Some people believe like the elements, the weather got them, or whatever, animals. And others believe that they actually found the gold and, kind of kept it quiet and made off with it. But later, a year went by, their bodies were found decapitated along the river. Heads were nowhere to be found. So people are kind of wondering, okay, what the hell happened? You can't tell.
I mean, who was it said they do it as a warning? I mean, that's
away.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the idea. Now, when you say decapitated, did you come across any information? Was it cut off or
ripped?
Yeah, torn off.
That's a good question. I didn't come across it
okay.
at all. So.
If you ever, I'm going to dig into this after we break here and see, because that what I'm trying to do. I'm a little bit of square pegging, round holing this, thinking that maybe there's a Sasquatch connection.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's a good question. Yeah,
you said larger than normal stature, but the armor, the body. That's why I was asking, clarifying on the body armor, and then as well as the head decapitation.
Are Sasquatches known to rip people's heads off?
They have been, allegedly they have been known for dismemberment and placing dismembered bodies as warnings as well for miners in Canada. So the story is very similar to some Sasquatch accounts. Yeah,
but Sasquatches don't wear armor though.
No,
or wield weapons.
There's been some accounts of them having clubs,
but
and bone things, but not any futuristic. Depends how far down that rabbit hole you want to go, because some people think they come off of UFOs and stuff too. So, but I don't necessarily subscribe to that. Continue, sir. Sorry.
Another example, in 1917, Martin Jorgensen, he went looking for gold. He actually built a cabin right on kind of the outside of it, ran a small mining operation for a little bit. He was actually well known by the settlers in that area. But the cabin was mysteriously found, burned to the ground, and inside they found his body amongst the ashes of the burned down cabin. No head.
No head.
And they couldn't find it at all either. The skull was nowhere near it.
No shit.
Maybe part of that is they're taking the skull as a trophy too.
Predator style.
Yeah, right? Because that in that case, that body was not set out as a warning. I mean, it was burnt down in the cabin, right? So
could be.
Just thinking. Yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities.
And then there was John O'Brien. Okay, this guy was found frozen to death. His body was clutching a pack of matches. The campfire he lit appeared to have actually been going, but people describe it as being flash frozen. So he's just there with the matches, and his head was still on, but that's just kind of a crazy statistic.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that could cause that in nature?
Maybe some kind of like a freak storm. But
some sort of vortex.
Maybe if you're in a blizzard, you couldn't get the fire hot enough, or something like that. But depending on how much fuel you had, but you would think if he got it started, he had some kind of a fuel there to keep him warm.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, one thing to think about too, as we look at the map, this is seriously northern climate, and possibly a front came through and it was like 70 below, and a little campfire wasn't enough, right? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a meteorologist.
What was that movie?
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was gonna reference that. And I didn't think anybody would know what I was talking about.
We talk about a lot of movies on there.
Yeah.
That's just. I think it shows you where they get these ideas.
Yeah. Right.
Could be. Yeah.
In addition to this, the beheadings, it's estimated that 44 people went missing in the valley by 1969. So just in that time frame.
And if you think about that, if that's what they have documented, think of the record keeping back there is not the greatest back in the 60s, So chances are there's a lot more that just never got recorded.
Another phenomenon, people talk about mysterious lights, UFOs, Bigfoot that you touched upon.
That is prime Sasquatch country up there, man.
And an Ampa Cadante, which is a bear dog. Did you ever hear that? I don't think I said that right. But
bear dog, man, bear pig, I've heard.
They found an ice cave. It had over 100 sheep skeletons in it, and the sheep starved to death about 2500 BC.
Wow.
And they're thinking that they maybe just fell in there or whatever, but it's still, up there, and
damn.
It's weird. I mean, you're talking about some of the most untouched places on Earth, and we had hardy folks back in the turn of the century, in the 1900s and stuff. They were pretty. These miners were not, people to really be joking around with. There was some serious shit. But I mean, one misstep and you're dead. The animals up there weren't that exposed to humans. I mean, you are no longer the top of the food chain. So and
absolutely,
the wrong hungry bear or mountain lion.
The only surveys they did of this place were done from airplanes, geological surveys. So no one's really going on the ground and figuring this stuff out. And the few efforts that they do explore, like I said, they turn up caverns, undergrounds, hot springs, vents, previously not known to exist. And some actually even believe that this is an entrance to the hollow earth.
Could very well be. I mean, that explains why this tribe of allegedly technologically advanced people could disappear without a trace.
Yeah, that's what I read too. I was going to bring it up if you didn't, but they think all those natural hot vents and whatnot lead to caves, and of course they could just be a cave dwelling people too.
Well, if you think about it too,
don't move this map.
The hot springs and the air temp and stuff. We've got tropical. There's tropical ecosystems up here. Fits great with Admiral Byrd's account down in South America,
because you're already getting
in Antarctica,
close up to the Arctic. There's supposedly an entrance there too. So.
Now, I was looking at your map. I'm going to try to do this right here. And I just happened to notice that there's this white speck in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
You see that?
Which is not public land.
Yeah, that's not public land.
That's interesting.
I went ahead and zoomed in. I went to satellite, and there's a Prairie Creek mine down here.
I wonder if that's just all...
Maybe somebody bought it and the mine owns it now?
Yeah, I really don't know, but I thought it was interesting that out of all that... And now that's government land, but of course right in the middle of it, and that's what's funny.
It's not very clear.
There's no... Like you said, there's no way to get in here. Even boat, there's just not a lot
Scrolling on the satellite view again,
forever.
Is there anything that would represent a airstrip or anything in there? I mean...
Yeah, I didn't...
That's so unclear that...
Yeah.
The satellite didn't.
So apparently in the middle of all this land that's supposedly, national forest, they gave this Prairie Creek mine their own little
claim, basically. Yeah.
And of course, you're not going to get great resolution apparently. And
no, that's about as good as you're going to get there, isn't it? Like Are we on Google?
Line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Click on that.
Oh, that's interesting.
You want to get directions?
Click on photos down here.
Photos, there it is.
Well, I guess it's
Pilot's Lounge, so there is some sort of helicopter airstrip there.
Oh, maybe that's how they get in then. Maybe that's that one way. He said, you can
it says right there,
plane,
Cadillac
right?
International Airport.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers that question.
There's no roof, and the back wall is not there. It's just a doorway.
It's just that must... I wonder if that's not a historical site now or something.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Well, you did say the only way to get in there is boat or plane, so there would have to be at least something that you could fly into.
Well, maybe that's the old cabin on the right, and the new one's the line on the left.
Yeah,
the pilot's
I'm
lounge?
guessing that must be the original
Pilot's Lounge.
Pilot's Lounge. Well, that's what that is. Well, that explains something because I thought it was pretty interesting.
It makes me happy to see they have a fire extinguisher handy.
So I suppose if you want to travel to Prairie Creek Mine, it looks like that area is safe, and then the rest of this will kill you.
I wonder, I never tried looking to find out where that 200-mile gorge is.
I was thinking it was right up here in the north, like that. Yeah, that whole long line looks like it would be about 200 miles, wouldn't it?
Excuse me.
Because I would like to look at that on the satellite. I guess it's so shitty anyway, we can't really.
Boy, really no shortage of water up there, is there?
No, it has some really nice springs to it.
Check out that town to the left.
Where?
There's a town to the left. The arrow. Go down. Right there.
Oh, Tungsten.
Oh, Tungsten.
Yeah.
As in the welding rod or the...
Or a ring, maybe?
Oh, there's an airport over there, yeah.
Let's check both these out.
Well, I don't want to go there.
God damn.
Go to the Tungsten Airport and see if they can see anything that would look like an airstrip there. Nah, just the resolution isn't there, is it?
There we go. Got a photo.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that one looks a little more
modern.
Yeah. I'd rather stay there than the other one, I can tell you that much.
Oh,
that looks like absolute beautiful scenery, though.
That's really interesting. Like I said, I read a little bit about this maybe a month or two ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, I stumbled upon it. I thought it was really, really interesting.
Did I miss anything that you think should be added?
No, the only thing that I read that agreed with you, all of it agreed, but it was just that the tribes would fight, and then the people. I thought there might have been accounts of them being like 7 foot tall or something, like really tall. Of course, it goes to because I was researching the giants again that I like so much, and that's where this came in. But yeah, then the springs and the actual tropical type of weather all year round. I mean, that's really interesting, and just scientifically in the first place. Like you said, these ecosystems that have been untouched are really interesting. In Russia, they have a cat, it looks like a big house cat, crossed with some kind of like a puma or whatever. But they say this is probably the direct descendant that our house cats come from. Then it's in Russia in these little pockets, and they go out there, but they're so isolated that they've tried taking these out and taking them to zoos, and they die because they're so isolated. Well, the same kind of thing could happen here, where you're so isolated. Even if we were to go and say find a tribe, we actually couldn't go out there because they might die from smallpox. We're immune.
Well, just
to.
the germs, introduction.
You got to be really careful about that.
And that's the same with us going into there. They might have something that we can't handle.
But it would be interesting to see a tribe of some sort.
Here's a question. You've got an area that is, magically dangerous, right? Through lore and stuff. Why make it a national park with public land?
Oh, because you don't want anybody buying it and being on it.
Right? To keep the private people out, right? So now, even though we've opened it to the public, we keep them in the, we monitor it that way that it's under, okay.
Yep.
Because I would think that it would be a military base or something, right?
Oh, you don't want to go ahead and put a military base there. Now, you might have military running ops out there.
Yeah. Some sort of area that's the military's used.
Yeah, you're not going to go ahead and put a base. You want to keep it quiet.
If you think about, with the widespread range of the habitat now with the warmer climate, who knows what could be up there, and you got all that underground shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the underground thing is pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't really buy into it much, but
and maybe when you put the tribe thing, maybe the tribe is still living. That was another thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And think of how easily they could avoid detection up there.
Yeah, because we just had it where they're just discovering tribes that and living without people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we walk right by them, and you probably wouldn't even know because it's their habitat. They know, And we were probably loud as shit compared to those people, right?
Got to crank the music.
I think this is a great subject.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm going to do a little digging in this on my own too, and I've been trying to figure out a place to go on some vacation. So maybe I'll go up there.
Head up there.
I don't know. You do a conspiracy show, and then you're going to go in some remote area,
and I'll die of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the back of the head. Two of them in the back of the head.
Food poisoning from some weird wild cherry up there or something.
Yeah, screw Dave's fucking island. Go up there and.
Of all the ways to die, if you think about it, going up to this place and having some advanced or ancient civilization decapitate you would be a pretty cool way to go.
Yeah, you kind of think
better than dying in a fiery car wreck on the way home from work or something,
Yeah.
At
least you'd know.
At least you'd go dying knowing the truth.
Yeah. No one else would, though. That's a shitty thing.
Yeah, well, at least I do.
We just periscope the whole thing.
Well, there's probably no service up there. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us any stories that you want us to check out and say, hey, this is pretty cool. I looked into this. You guys should check it out too. So we'll do that. Let us know. And have a good one.
I really want it.
You really want to what?
I'm trying to find this VR porn video I want to do, and all of a sudden I got a bunch of porn on my phone.
That's
you can't even look up porn without, just seeing tits. All I want to do is find a machine. I don't want to see and watch video of porn,
Is that the one where the Japanese invented it, where you wear the suit and?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I can't find the
I
fucking thing. The video had the tits, right? Yeah. That Asian guy looked really into it.